5 minutes. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazell, the proud founder and CEO of Swissborg. Always here to serve you, and I hope you're enjoying the voice. And with me today, not Anthony, but Alex.
Yo guys, thank you so much for having us, and apologies for the technical issues. It was working fine an hour before, but unfortunately something went wrong with the software. But we're super excited. I'm very sad that Anthony, the bigger brains and the better version of myself, is not going to be here. But we're very excited to hold this AMA with you guys. How are you doing? Let us know how you're doing in the chat. And don't forget to chat with each other and get the flow going so we can rebuild the momentum. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Okay, and So today we're going to talk about, and why do we do these AMAs? The main reason is bringing transparency, making sure that our community, the loved ones such as you guys watching right now, are able to really witness what we're doing and making sure we're aligned. So today, during this AMA, we're going to talk about the vision of Swissborg, the big picture. Then we're going to talk about the Wealth App achievements. We're going to deep dive into top performing tokens, about tokens versus Bitcoin in 2020, talk about our wonderful CHSB, talk about the smart yield, because this is what you're for. We're going to talk about how we minimize risk, maximize returns. We're going to talk about new Premium Plus, the roadmap, and at the end, Q&A. And as we got a slow start, you know what? I'm going to answer every question today, even if we have to go for next hour, okay? That's at least at good faith. You show that we're showing the great energy here. So, one of the most important things, what is our great vision at Swissborg, right? We're here to decentralize finance, right? And to make sure that wealth management is accessible to everyone by making it fair, fun, and community-centric. But now more diving into, what is our market? How can we get there? Well, how do you make sure that private banking is, you provide the experience to the whole entire world? Well, there's a huge statement here which is that in 2023, we're going to be 3 billion crypto users probably. And we have witnessed since 2015 till today that there's a lot of different exchanges like Coinbase. And there's more and more users because thanks to PayPal and our fintechs, we're bringing more users into the scene. But how did Swissborg approach this wealth management, crypto wealth management industry? So what we really done is that we brought in this new wealth app. And this wealth app, how is it different? It really has this trading assistance that enables you to see what are the great tokens, to know more about what are the great underlyings, to as well have a smart engine that enables you to buy low, sell high, maximize that investment experience, and really create this trading assistance. But starting very soon with the smart yields, what we're going to provide is in theme-based investment with AI. And really have a better investment experience, right? To really get into not a do-it-yourself trading mode, but more like, let's press the button and enjoy the ride. And with Libra coming in and other central bank digital currencies at the DCEP, we've seen this with China already 3 weeks ago, getting into the space. For sure, Christine Lagarde is going to push the digital euro, and we're going to see the US dollar and other different stable coins on the market. And this is really when we're going to be able to establish the great vision of Swissborg, of this great cyber advisor or robo-advisor that's behind it, that will be, okay, what's my profile? What's my risk? Let's enjoy the real investment experience that we feel at Swiss private banks, but done that through your smartphone. And to look at a little bit, how it's going to be portrayed, you see it, right? Today what we have, the trading assistants, themes-based investment going forward with, top 5 crypto, with, collectibles in it and different funds that we could tokenize, into the third phase, which is really that, assistant that is telling you, based on your risk, we're about to sell this position for you, we're going to buy this, really make sure that you have that private banking experience within if your figures, and essentially be able to do that with no minimum. That's really the greater vision of Swissborg roadmap in terms of product. I hope that's exciting. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I love it. You know, guys, that's really when we look at crossing the chasm, when we know that mass adoption is coming around the corner, Swissborg has not only made it easier through still a DIY model, but going from semi DIY to semi automation to becoming fully automated to create a holistic wealth management platform is really what the mass will need. And as they come into this space, I believe that we have a very, very strong offering. I'm looking forward to the future. The future is bright always, my friends. If you agree, don't forget to put your comments in the live chat. The future is bright.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's really cool. By the way, 215 people, 18 showing every second. So I was really glad. And for those who are just catching up right now, apologies again. I'm getting a little bit late, but at least we'll be here for a few more minutes to hours. Now maybe let's dig into the CHSB and the heart of, which is really the heart of our system, right? We really want to make sure that Swissborg Tokens represents our community. Our community represents everything regarding our wealth, regarding our wealth management platform. And as you guys know, Swissborg's main utility today is the Be Premium membership. You know, there's zero commission on Bitcoin, on different other cryptos as well. We have 50% on many assets. And the great thing, and this is why you're all excited, is that you're going to double your return rate with Smart Yield. So I'll just rephrase that. You are going to double the return with your Smart Yield. Until now, it was great for discounts. Now it's about boosting your returns. So this is really something that is extremely important. But not only, we always have the protect and burn, as you guys know, 20% of our revenue or more actually goes to buy back the essentially the Swissborg token on the markets. Then we burn it, and we do that always at different timing that Alex will explain a little bit later. We have as well voting rights around referendums, and we're planning of having referendums next year, which is going to be extremely important to make sure we're going towards the right direction and making sure as well that you have the right governance rights to do so. Last but not least, as you guys know, the DAO platform is really something that you should check out, dao.swissborg.com, the best collaborative platform for anyone around the world to do these AMAs and to do whatever you guys want. And I think so that's something that is very important to have today.
All right, guys, so moving on to the utility tokens, and specifically the tokens that have been performing very, very well in H2 2020 relative to Bitcoin. As you guys know, we had a bit of a DeFi bubble, and it kind of bursted with some tokens losing up to 90% of their value and market cap. But this is a very, very important sheet here, because we know that in H2, in the top 200 by market cap, Celsius is the best performing token. And the reason why we have all of these coins and tokens within this chart is because they're very similar to the CHSB multi-utility token, except that some of them actually have less utility than the CHSB, and our market cap is way smaller, as in a minimum of 50% all the way up to 1/25th of these coins. But look at it, guys. As soon as we had the DeFi bubble burst, plus we had all the uncertainty in the world, the whole market, financial markets just crashing before the US elections, you can see here that a lot of these tokens remain very strong with Bitcoin. It didn't crash. Number one reason, of course, is the utility. But why is Celsius? Why has Celsius outperformed Bitcoin so largely relative to, for example, Nexo, which is also a yielding utility token? And the answer is quite simple here, guys. BNB has all three utilities. The CRO, the Crypto.com, had some drama, had some issues, political issues. We're not going to cover that. That's another day. But when we look at Nexo and Celsius, the difference in terms of performance is, number one, the traction within their app. But number two, more importantly, is that on top of having the yielding utility, they also have a buyback mechanism. They have a buyback mechanism which purchases, based on their commissions, tokens on the secondary market and redistributes them to the community. And that's exactly the utility that we're offering with this new CHSB utility. And that's why it's so promising, because the model is more similar to the Celsius token. Plus, we have other utilities that the Celsius token does not have, and is different from the model that Nexo uses. So we're going to look at the specifications so you guys can see how beautiful it is. But obviously, I'm very biased, heavily biased, but I'm also very optimistic. On to you, Sai.
Cool, man. Thanks, brother. So, based on that, I think so we should explain a bit of the rally. So a lot of people are coming into CHSB right now and they're like, okay, what happened? What is the secret magic? And the secret magic to any performance in life, it's a lot of work, right? We never always look at the tip of the iceberg, but we never really look at what's behind it. And that has to do a lot about the magic of, why we're one of the top performing token of the year. And, it comes from the fact that the great utility of our token, but not only that is how this wealth app is like super cool, right? And we've seen that since the launch of the app, the token has extremely well. It went even maybe too high to some extent, to some portion, and it came from multiple different cycles, right? The first protect and burn was one that established, the policy of really giving back, I think so, to our community through the Swissborg through the Swissborg burn. I think so. Then the premium was really the catalyst that brought the token to go 5x, 10x, whatever it went. Then we got to be available in 100 countries. I think so that had like a massive effect. Then after there was obviously a correction when the head and shoulders is a pattern that happens right often, and when you go a little bit too SPY, it does correct, and I think so that it makes sense. We had then the launch of the reward and affiliate program, which is probably the funnest way to refer people. I just love it. I haven't been very successful so far. I got like 5 or 7, 8 euros, but I think so, Alex, you got up to like 50 euros yourself, or how much did you get as maximum?
74 euros. Yeah.
74 euros, lucky man. And now we're seeing back that Swissborg is getting back to its means, and it's going much higher from what it is because the smart yield. And the smart yield is not only a great product that's going to attract a lot of assets under management, but with a 2x of earning twice more with the premium, that is definitely, we're seeing more and more people that are accumulating the Swissborg tokens that are getting to that premium model because they want that 2x factor. So I think so that sums up a bit like 9 months of performance of Swissborg, and I'm really looking forward to the next 2 months, to be honest. Maybe the wealth app in terms of stats, today we have 58,000 users plus, but probably 60,000 next week, which is really cool. We have 67 million asset under management, which is really great, and it's really growing. We have had 17 million last week of volume, which is really good. 20 active users, it's been really a lot, 23,000 active users right at this week. That means made different exchange, buy and sell exchange. The user of the week, there's someone who did 109 fiat deposits. That's a lot of money and a lot of time that he deposited. That's probably the best performance he got in his life if he's done that in early April or May or even recently. And the great thing is that we're having more and more exchange, and it's really growing just because people are loving the trading assistant, and obviously even much loving it when it's premium because it's pretty much free for most trades. Stats regarding Swissborg token, which is very important, is that we made it to the top 100, baby. That's great. I hope we are going to stick to there and even more get down to top 50. We need to do that by the end of the year, which is a very short of time. We have we have pretty much 2,000 premium, which is really good. That's something which is really awesome. The 2x utility, which is really important. We had 10 different protect and burns so far, and I'm accumulating more and more Swissborg tokens to be burned going forward. And the daily volume right now, Swissborg token, it is $1.3 million, which I think so it's really good, and we should be really proud of it. Last but not least, over 50 million tokens that are staked for 1 year. There's no other platform people stake it for 1 year. That's how much trust you guys have with us, and I really want to, bottom of my heart, thank you so much for this. It really shows how great you guys are and how much you trust us.
And I think that just to add a little point there in terms of staking, guys, we were only at 5% of total circulating supply staked as of end of August, and we're already at 7.3% as of early November, and this is without the premium tiers. So once we reach the double digits in terms of staking of all the circulating supply, I can guarantee you guys there's going to be mega FOMO at that point. So really excited about that.
And a little bit more about the traction and wealth growth. You know, we talked about a bit about this already, but there's been over 100,000 installations, which is amazing. There's roughly 2,000 successful exchange, 70,000 people that deposited so far, 50,000 tickets scratched. It's crazy. And here there's over 2 million people are looking at the asset analysis. If you guys don't know what the asset analysis is, it's the best tool to know if you have to buy, sell, if you have to hold, or if you have to leverage a bit more your positions or deleverage your positions a bit. It is a great way for you guys to be the perfect trader with just looking at these different indicators that enable you to be a better investor. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Alex, your turn to shine. Or is it my turn? No, sorry, it's my turn.
Yeah, just one thing that you guys need to realize, 18.5 million US dollars in terms of weekly trading volume. And we did smash the records yesterday with 4 million US dollars for the daily trading volume. Those figures have been exponential. And it's simple as that. We're going to get close to crossing the chasm. The mass will need a simple system like Swissborg. So we're very excited to see such growth in such a short amount of time. Up to you. Back to you, Zai.
So in terms of financials, a lot of people are wondering is that we're finally making revenue. So we have made a little more than $1.5 million in the past 6 months, which is really good. And you know, we're really expecting to generate much more volume and much more revenues next year with essentially the theme-based investments. This is where we believe that we're going to grow the AUM, we're grow the better experience, but we're really going to be a catalyst within the crypto wealth management industry. So it's really the next year we're going to shine, and the following years that we'll go with it. In terms of treasury, we're very happy to know that we have over a year of burn rate, which is good. That enables us to you know, be financially healthy. The revenue forecast is going to grow a lot. We targeting in 2023 to have $1 billion. 1 billion Swiss francs asset under management. This is really what we're targeting, and we are very confident we're going to get to that. And last but not least, but we'll be generating a net profit of 50% by 2023. And this is really the how Swissborg wants to grow in revenues is the first base, the trade assistant, gather the biggest amount of asset under management, and then offer great services for you guys to essentially, you know, trust the system as you're already doing, rely on it, get the best investment mandates out of it, and then as well generate a fair amount of revenue, which again is the best thing that we want, because that will be even better for the protect and burn, and a great way for all of us to be healthy and wealthy.
And also one thing to add, guys, of course, you know, we're aiming to become profitable as early as Q1 2022, but we need your help. Continue to spread the word, share with your friends, get more people on the Wealth app. We could scale faster thanks to you guys. And of course, you can see as the burn rate grows up is simply because we will be growing the teams as well to release more products and features at a faster rate, but keeping that Swiss quality along the way.
Exactly. Well said, Alex. Great. Exactly well said. So now, you know, that was a big portion about Swissborg. Now it's how we're joining the future of finance and the DeFi. And we're going to talk about this, and it's going to be super exciting. Like Alex always says, what do we have to do?
Minimize your risk, but maximize your returns.
And that's how we do. Exactly. So, I mean, how do we really minimize risk with DeFi and yield farming? And to do that, we really have to understand there is risk, right? This is in every investment venture, there's always risk. The biggest risk we see in DeFi and yield farming is smart contracts, the hack risk, liquidation risks, you know, and, you know, there's been a lot of different ways that we've seen that Harvest, for example, had, you know, drained 24 million. It was not really a hack itself. It was really more that the fact that, you know, their auditing of their smart contract was well done, but how that would be looking at different other contracts and how that data would be perceived. So it's more like an economical hack. And we've seen it with different scams with yams and all of that, and I think so with this has to be done through an oracle that has looks at this on a daily basis, and a team that is backing this oracle and making sure that is essentially creating an investment universe that don't has any of these massive risks. I think so with that, which is really important. Right now, the limitations of DeFi, it's quite wild west, right? And it's really exclusive to the wealthy because the gas fees obviously are really too high, which limits people. If you don't have a big amount, then it's just completely changing the APYs on a daily basis. It's not only the fact that you have to be wealthy, it's that you have to be behind it. And I think so. The fact that there's UX, which is not great. It's a really full-time job that you need to rely on someone who could do that in a very good way. And I think so Swissborg, for sure, we're probably the best contenders at that.
Well put, Sai. And in terms of the CeFi risk and limitations, obviously the issue here is more of a limitation because we know that there's a lack of transparency, right? It's not disclosed. We don't know where the commission comes from. We get no information even if we request it. So it's just very, very general. So that's a problem. It doesn't go really with the principles of the blockchain. Of course, there's the default risk, which we'll talk about later, security risk and fraud risks. So really, Swissborg is here to minimize the risk. And I know we're repeating ourselves, but it's really, really important to understand that. And we'll look at the specifics in the next slide. So here, guys, this is something that's really, really important. As you know, Swissborg is always trying to take the best of traditional finance as well, not just always on the off-chain world, on-chain world. It's always combining both sides, the traditional world, but also the future. And this is a model that's inspired by credit rating systems or agencies that we have in the US. For instance, Moody's, S&P, and Fitch. What they will do is they will basically do the due diligence, and they will rate a project from AAA all the way down to D, and under a specific level, they're called junk bonds or junk stocks, etc., junk equities. And Swissborg, in order to minimize the risk for you guys out there, this is very complicated because due diligence in the traditional financial world only requires financial and legal. But in the DeFi and the yield farming world, it also has a layer of the technological expertise in order to really do the proper due diligence. And that's what we have at Swissborg. We have people who understand Solidity, who can read the programming languages, can see if there's an issue with a code even after there is an audit. But on top of that, we have the financial experts who will also look at the liquidity and all the market risk and really mitigate both financial, technological risks for you. So that's really one point. And on top of that, to further mitigate the risk, Swissborg is also adding 1 million Swiss francs in a safety net to make sure that as soon as we kick off, we have a safety net in case on top of that due diligence that we can save and protect you as much as possible. But on top of that, 25% of the fees will be allocated to this risk mitigation, which we'll talk about a little more later. Sai, do you want to talk about the specific ways of how we mitigate risk across multiple platforms?
Exactly. So first thing is to define the investment universe, right? And the investment universe and all the different investment opportunities that goes with it goes into these 4 different brackets. There's yield farming, centralized lending, decentralized lending, and liquidity pools. This is the 4 different investment universe. And then within that, you have to make sure that you are essentially working with the very best ones, right? If you have to make sure that, as Alex said, is you don't have to only do the risk basic on finance, but you have to do risk on technical as well and operational as well. There's 3 different risks that you really have to lay out. And by doing that, we've put together Swissborg Intelligence, a strategy optimizer that could really provide the very best investment opportunities. And as we talked about this earlier, it's really about the smart contract, the auditing, all of that, liquidity risk, stablecoin risk, mount counterparty exposure, pool size, transaction cost, making sure that all of this, it's looked on a daily basis, right? On daily basis in Oracle, you're looking at these different information. I'll make sure that it is essentially providing the best output with it. And here you can see that this Oracle, this is a bit that the backend of this Oracle, it would essentially be able to score these different investment opportunities on a risk basis and make sure that your total overall allocation of this smart yield is done in the best way. And that's really how we minimize risk and
maximize return. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you guys can see that it's based on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being that there is absolute tremendous risk and 10 being no risk, but there's no such thing as no risk. So the credit system the rating system has been done very well internally, and we're very proud of this. So we talked about risk. What are we talking about next, Sai?
A risk again.
Yeah. Just in case you guys.
Last but not least, as you guys know, there's a safety net that Alex talked about that will be funding, but as well performance will be taken from there. There's a rating, as we just we just see that we really want to have better than 7 at all time. So to make sure that the risk of what are the different investment opportunities is as small as possible. There's some counterparty risk, like the Binance Smart Chain that we're big fans of. And then last but not least, we're always very proud that we're building all the security outputs with the best counterparties in terms of wallet with MPC technology, which today is built by Curve, and we have internal solution as well that matches this. Now, how do we, Alex, how do we maximize returns?
Yeah, guys, so we talked about the risk. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us directly. But as you can see, the procedures are there in place, and we're really doing our best to create the best risk return yielding product in the space. That's as far as we want to go. Now let's talk about how we maximize the returns. How are we using this? So as you guys know, there's so many platforms. The complexity of yield farming is just beyond one's mind. Even doing it by yourself, it is really like having to take care of an entire farm by yourself from early morning to night. And it's not only difficult to find the right platform, but also the trading pairs, the APYs for specific assets is constantly changing on an hourly basis. So it's really a full-time job, not just for one person, but for a group of people who need to be on the farm if you really want to make the best out of this.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we put out. It's really this Oracle that scans, monitors at all time, all these different investment opportunities, and that automatically invests into these different pools with, as always, the rating, right? As how the Oracle, the intelligence itself builds this rating model for the individual investments of each different wallet. And that's really, I think, so the beauty for it. And obviously 20%, as it's advertised, is very high. There's still possibilities. Yields have been falling down, but they'll fall back up. They'll go back up. They'll go back down. So it will always, change with time. Right now, a lot is from yield farming, but there's a lot as well to be done through market making as well as stable coins. So there's still a lot of juice, and we're definitely here to press it and to serve it in that beautiful martini glass with orange juice or whatever it is. And that's exactly what we want to do at all time.
And if I can add one thing, Cyrus, real quick, up to 20% is what we're aiming for. And even if the yields do tend to go down, there are definitely cycles in this. One thing that you guys need to understand is we will always be seeking alpha. Just like our best execution, just like the way we have connectivity to multiple exchanges, we will always be seeking alpha. And that's what matters the most, so that you can feel reassured that you're not getting really the best risk return asset in terms of yielding. But let's look at the comparison relative to the competitors out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important, Alex. Yeah. So, there's so many different competitors that are providing this in this space. And I really believe that all of these that we just have put out, they're great companies, by the way. They're doing a great job, and I'm a big fan of many of them. But the beauty for it is that, as you guys know, Oracle, the intelligence itself builds this rating model for the individual investments of each different wallet. And that's really, I think, so the beauty for it. And obviously 20%, as it's advertised, is very high. There's still possibilities. Even though But how are we so different, Alex? Tell us, how are we different? How are we different
Yeah,
between the DeFis and the CeFis?
absolutely. So first off, before we kick off, guys, why have we chosen USDC? So a lot of people hear about the impermanent loss when it comes to DeFi or just yielding crypto, right? Impermanent loss is when you lock in a token that could lose value while you're earning yields, right? And the best way to get rid of impermanent loss is simple. Number one, you use USDC, which is the most trusted of all stable coins and gets the most audited. So you choose USDC to kick off because it is the safest option to avoid this impermanent loss. But on top of that, on top of the up to 20%, which just blows out all the other competitors, we're also mitigating the risk through multiple platforms to not have a central point of failure where they can get hacked and lose the funds. We are also using yield farming. We're optimizing with yield farming where very few actually do that. But on top of that, guys, we have 18 fiat currencies. We're the only platform where you can go from your currency, your local currency, and directly access yield farming in one single app. But on top of that, we have best execution so that if you want to sell your positions, you always buy at the lowest rate, sell at the highest rates. And we also offer no gas fees as we're connecting directly to the platforms and to the vaults. What is really cool is there is also no lockup. So that is also very good for impermanent loss. So if we do add assets further down the line, which we will talk about in the slides that come, so stay tuned on that. But it is flexible. You do not need to lock your funds, which is amazing. The payouts are also daily, so you don't have to wait until a full week to go through the cycle. You don't have to lock it up for 3 months to get maximum yield. You can come in and come out as often as you want. And on top of that, we're offering this hybrid world of CeFi, DeFi, but we're also, thanks to today's AMA, we're going to share everything. We're sharing everything with you. We're fully transparent on what everything will happen. So we're also keeping the principles and values of DeFi. And that's why we believe that we will have the best yielding product in the industry.
That is big statement, but as always, we'll take this very seriously and we'll definitely be there. Great stuff, Alex. Super excited about that's how we're showing a different model and how this is great. Now, in terms of performance and performance fees and revenue distribution model, how does it work?
So guys, let's jump into the numbers. And I know a lot of you guys in the actual Slido questions have been asking about this, and it's very, very important. As you guys can see, right? So picture we have this performance. If you're a non-premium user, you will be getting 25% of this performance. The 40% that you see in the green is the SB ecosystem. The SB ecosystem includes the affiliate program, the ambassador. This is super, super exciting because not only the affiliates will get rewarded for trading volume, but they will also get rewarded for yielding. And that's very, very special. And the affiliate program, ambassador program, will grow very fast, I believe, thanks to this, because it's an initiative that not many other companies offer. And then if you click next side, you can see up there in the gray box, this is the safety net. So every time you're putting money to yield on the platform, you're contributing to this community safety net, and every user is actually contributing to that so that we can grow the safety net to a point that we're extremely comfortable. So let's say, for instance, the first goal that we want to achieve, perhaps maybe 10 million Swiss francs. And then we can reassess with the community and really figure out what is the best safety net to make sure that everyone is 100% reassured. And then last but not least, and this is very, very important, if you can click twice, now the protect and burn. You guys remember, we're looking at the sheet earlier about the Cell token from Celsius. So Celsius is an amazing platform. They're friends of ours. And their token absolutely mooned, not just because they had the yielding utility, but also because they had a buyback mechanism that would redistribute the tokens. And the protect and burn here, which is coming from the smart yield product, is also having a buyback mechanism, which is 10% of all the fees. And that is going to boost our protect and burn reserve, which is very, very exciting. And if you can go to the next one, so we can look at premium users. This is why, guys, you need to become premium as soon as you can. Premium users will get double the amount of yield. So you'll still be contributing to the safety net to make sure everyone in the community is safe. You'll still be contributing to the SB ecosystem so that affiliates and everyone supporting the growth of the ecosystem and also Swissport to become a sustainable and profitable company. But you're also contributing to the protect and burn for the CHSB to have more utility and better tokenomics than ever. So this is very, very exciting, Sai. What do you think?
I mean, I'm full on. I mean, this is definitely, a game changer for the industry and the game changer for Swissborg. So again, if you're not a premium user, it's not too late, but you definitely need to go and get into it. And maybe last but not least, if we want to sum it up, Alex, I think so the most important here, what's your takeaway?
Yeah, so in terms of the CHSB token, guys, so this is really important because the CHSB will allow you to save money, but also earn money through the yielding. And this is really going to increase conversion rates. You guys know that, we really like the Amazon Prime model where more than 50% have converted. As of today, we have roughly 2,000 premium accounts. We really want to grow that, and it's going to put lots of buying pressure on the CHSB because it's really, really worth it. Protect and burn will be boosted, as you guys just heard, and this is the same mechanism that CEL has to buy back CHSB tokens on the secondary market. And last but not least, if you can click one more site, we have, of course, the ambassadors, the affiliates, the influencers are going to be happy shoppers because they're going to be earning more commission through their users who don't want to trade and just want to enjoy the yield, right? As happy shoppers, the influencers will definitely promote us more and more. And it's just a really positive cycle, Sai. Aren't you excited about all this?
Yeah, I mean, the win-win situation is, I think, so we love the most at Swissborg, and this is a win-win-win. And it really shows that this is just great. And when you thought it was going to just be over, we're actually going to be adding more different tokens. And this is, probably there's a lot of people that, for example, will buy a big amount of crypto and then they go on the cold wallets. And we asked them, like, but what if we on your Bitcoin or on your BNB we start offering yield? And they'll be like, well, that's for sure. I'm going to stay there because I started to know you guys more and I'm more confident. But now if you're offering 10%, 15% or more on these different other coins, that's definitely where I want to put them. And I think so. This is going to be a massive game changer. Our whole tech team is pretty much already configuring the fact that we're going to be able to essentially offer Bitcoin, Ether, BNB, and others in the future. So I think so. This is extremely interesting. This for me is really how we bring in credit into crypto wealth management, right? We always talk about buying low, selling high. No, now this is about credit. It's about how you essentially could get staking. I mean, you get high yields out of doing, just pressing on one button and relaxing on your couch or doing whatever you do at best. So I think so. This is something that's going to be a game changer, and I'm very excited about this. It's going to be really, really cool.
And if I can piggyback on you, Cyrus, and what you were saying, guys, obviously we cannot give you a specific date. We never talk about the whens. We'll answer all the other questions, but the good news here is the front end, the designs, the screens have all been done. And also, as Cyrus was saying, in terms of the back end, the multi-asset accounts have also been configured, meaning that as soon as we want, we can add other coins and tokens a lot faster, a lot simpler than the initial plan. So I think that's really, really exciting, guys, because, once we've tested, we've deployed, and we've verified everything is working really well, it becomes very easy for us to add easy, quote unquote, to add other coins and tokens. So that's super exciting.
And that's the beauty when you're an architect and you build, amazing castles. Essentially, you could then just deploy them and make them sure that every room has the right lighting. And that's a great thing at Swissport, right? Now getting more into the roadmap. As you guys know, it's been a very, very busy year, but a really fun year too. And the Smart Yield is really the next thing happening. We're definitely launching this, by the end of the year, which is great. We want to bring in different premium tiers, as you guys know. There's as well the theme-based investments that we want to run, and the translation of different languages pour tous les Français et espérons pour les autres aussi. And I think so. There's something that we really have to be aware here is the Premium Plus campaign, right? Till now, we've had one Premium, and we're going to add a new Premium Plus. The premium new plus is going to be most probably one of the most exciting premiums we have, because you're going to have, for all the trading, you're going to have zero commission. So it's really the premium that everyone wants. It's probably going to be 100,000 CHSB token, which is still to be defined, but this is what we want to do. And for that, Alex, did you
One
say
thing, yeah. So guys, you heard it. I know a lot of you wanted to know exactly how many tokens it would be. As Cyrus was saying, 100,000 tokens will be required to go to the premium plus tier. And the good thing is, for those who are already premium and those ICO members, you've only contributed 5,000, you'll go automatically upgraded to the premium plus. Now, this is really important, guys. This is where, not only for those who are not premium, basically you need to go premium for those who are not premium. And I'll tell you why. For those who are not premium, if you go premium until, and we will fix these dates for you, but long story short, if you go premium now with 50,000 tokens, you will also be able to get upgraded to the premium plus, which is 100,000 tokens. And basically the idea here, guys, is to create a FOMO strategy. We're going to create a real FOMO strategy with a countdown clock, where you will have this 50% discount to go to premium now. And right after the date of the launch of the premium plus, it will be 100,000 CHSB tokens. So as you guys can imagine, for those who are already premium, this is awesome news for you. For those who are not premium yet, you should seriously start considering it, because these are just the beginning of many, many awesome benefits, and we're super pumped about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially the price probably of the SwissWork token from there is going to be much higher than now. So I mean, then do whatever you feel is the best. Everyone has his own path in life, but we strongly encourage people to get to premium in order to be upgraded to premium plus. Good stuff. I mean, and I think so. We went through the presentation. There's 1,000 questions. So if I'm not able to answer some of these questions, I'm really sorry about that, but I'm trying to do my best here. So I suggested using 2 months of fees instead of burning for marketing, but was told money had been reserved for this. What mass marketing will be deployed? The best marketing we have is you guys. We do these AMAs, we do these referral programs, we do these reward programs. Is we believe at Swissport the best way in order to get to grow our community and our family is by other people bringing in better community members, a greater amount of people. And this is really it. I mean, we just have shot last week our last video campaign for the AMA, for the Smart Yield, sorry. But again, the best thing is the referral, is how you guys could convince someone to say, okay, Swissborg has a great new way of investing into crypto in the easiest way. They have a great community centric philosophy. It's very easy, or it's very sophisticated for those who are more active crypto users. And I think so that's the big thing of what we want to do. Is Swissborg DeFi? We're definitely embracing DeFi. We have governance token, regarding referendums that is very similar to what you see in DeFi, but we're always between that two worlds of on-chain and off-chain, right? And we try to merge that, and by bringing the best out of it. And this is exactly what's about the Wealth app, and this is what about our token. So I would say yes, we are definitely DeFi, and at the same time we are something else, right? It's always hard to put just one stamp on it, but we're definitely part of it. Sending Swiss francs, and with the current intermediaries and GB, we've been told the solution providing individual IBAN with CH will be available. Yes, this is happening right now. We are a bit changing a lot. Essentially, long story short, we are upgrading a lot of new fiat gateways into the Wealth app. There'll be some fiat gateways that we will take some time to re-implement them. We're changing all the backbone of our banking partners behind it, which I think is going to be great. We're going to have great ways for Swiss people to invest with CH IBANs. We'll have great things. I don't want to talk too much about it, but we're really working hard on it. And this should be deployed by the end of Q4, so very soon. What can you say for those who think that we're too slow? Chi va piano va sano va lontano. I think so that, you could rush into things, but most of the time, if you really, really rush into things, you're probably gonna fall into a wall. And we don't do that at Swissborg. And that's really about getting very rich rapidly or building wealth. Do you want to be rich and have the fortune of losing everything within a fraction of a time, or be wealthy, which means that you are there to collaborate on the greater good and you could accumulate money, but not only. And I think so that's what we do at Swissborg. It's the Swiss way of building things. It's how we could prevail on the long run. And sometimes you maybe don't get the fund, the first token whenever it should be listed. But what we do provide though is for the longer run, better investment opportunities that are more robust. And I think so that's the real way to get into building wealth. Can you arrange a function if I die? Yes, we are working on different ways. Actually, even now, if it happens that you die, which really will be very unfortunate, it's very easy actually to contact us directly, and we would then, with the notary and with the act of decease that you'll have your wife or your children will have to prove, we will then essentially reconfigure the account, do a KYC of your wife or your children, and then essentially be able to fund the accounts, and then your children or whatever who is behind will be able to essentially get your account. So it's already it's already there. So
and I think that's a really good point, Sai, because a lot of people talk about not your keys, not your crypto, but in these type of scenarios, if you die with a ledger and your family doesn't know how to make it work, or it destroys or gets water or anything, I want to say that crypto is here to help us control our wealth, to decide what we want to do. But this is what's beautiful about having not only the best MPC custody provider, but also providing these solutions in case something happens to us. So I think it's a very good question, and thank you so much for the question.
Yeah, and we're we do it the Swiss way. We have the right licenses, and I think so we have the right the right setup in order to make sure we provide the best security. We avoid the less risk. We'll just talk about that a little bit later. Why do you make withdrawals so difficult? I think so that was back then, it was just for gas price were extremely high at the moment, so it's just the buyer was high. Now it's a little bit less, so we're not in that situation anymore, if you could notice. I noticed that if the price of BTC, we're not always correlated to the Swissborg token, to Bitcoin. Sometimes Bitcoin has its own thing, right? When it sometimes performs extremely well, because a lot of Bitcoin performance comes from institutional, essential investors, where other cryptos could come from more, retail and most individuals. So sometimes they're correlated, sometimes they're not. That's how it is, and that's why you should be well diversified. And that's the reason why you should check our Swissborg app and make sure you're well diversified and you buy the right assets. I noticed that does Swissborg also function on app? No, we do both. You could buy with crypto, you could sell with crypto, you could buy with fiat. You could come in with fiat, you could go off with fiat. That's fine, which is great. What's Swissborg burn rate? How much? So we talked about that. So we have over a year of runway. We're probably at 750K per month, or 700, so roughly 8 million. We're probably going to increase that burn rate because we want to make sure that we're providing best features within the Wealth app. As you guys probably know, 70% or 75%, I think so, of our salaries goes to 75% of our spending goes to salaries, or more, maybe 80%, and over half of that goes actually into the tech team. So it really shows that we're a real tech fin company. We're not paying ourselves crazy salaries. We're bringing in,
and we're getting big as well, Sai, right? We have close to 80 people now. I think it's like 74, 75.
78. We just turned 78.
78. So we're getting close to 80 employees, guys. Like, Swissborg is no longer a little startup anymore. Thanks to you. Thanks to all the support and love that you've given us. It's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Language, yes, it's going to happen. Hopefully in Q1 of next year, we'll be starting with the Swiss languages. So French, Italian, German, and then whatever referendum probably we'll do, or something that we'll try to see where's the biggest traction, maybe Spanish. We'll see really basically on what the community wants. besides the best security for safety reasons, you recently mentioned the top funds and the wealth that will be insured. Can you comment? So yeah, we really looked at this seriously and how we could insure your assets, and we're gonna have a press communication on that. Essentially, it's a great way how we could protect your assets, and yeah, we'll have a communication very soon. If Swissborg goes bust, our friends and assets. So no, if we go bust, all your assets go back to you guys. They're segregated on the different accounts. These are your funds. We're not allowed to get them legally. We're not allowed to even touch them technically. You can't even do that. So you will have to withdraw your funds if we go bust, but that is never going to happen thanks to you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, there's still a lot of questions here. How do we know that our money is safe to invest with you? Well, how do you know? Well, you probably know from the ethics of our heart. You know the fact we're regulated. You know the fact that we have the best security. You know the fact as well that you could come at our office anytime and just say, "Hey, man, where's my funds?" And I'll just say, "There."
Literally, guys. I mean, we had people come to the office in Lausanne, and Cyrus would leave a board meeting just to go shake a hand, give some swag or a cup of coffee. So, you know, I think in terms of transparency, in terms of openness and ethics, like Cyrus was saying, plus, you know, our tokens still being locked. There's nothing to say. You know, we have the cleanest record, and we're very proud to have these great ethics because we have a community that inspires us so much.
Very true. Thanks, Alex, for typing that. Can you use USDC when staking for yield? You could always lose some money. You'll never lose a lot with staking because there's a lot of most of what it is very secure, extremely secure. But they could be some days that we eventually could lose maybe in one position or whatsoever. But the great thing is that the safety net is there, and the safety net will be able to make sure that you're not going to lose it, right? So that's a good thing. Someone clarify what is the net interest we're going to receive out of our pocket? Is 20% or 15% of deduction? So it is going to be flexible. There are going to be some days that you'll earn more than that, some days less than that, but the target here is to bring 20% for those who are on premium. Someone could clarify, yields gained into the wealth app tax-wise. Will they be considered dividends or interest or obtained from abroad? Question number 5. Wow, I should have worked on that one. I have no clue. It depends. Every country has a different tax regime. So I presume for some countries it's going to be capital gains for sure. I think so. I cannot answer this question. If you're in Switzerland, you're not going to pay anything on it. That I know. But for the other countries, it should be on a country basis. So hard to know where you're from. If you're in the chat, just send me which country you guys interested for that. Maybe I could answer a bit later. Will you provide yields like an option to lock for 10 days? That's I think so. That is really, really cool way to look at this, and I'm totally for this. I think that we should really encourage people to essentially be able to reward them basically if they lock it for a certain amount of time, like if it's fixed or if it's floating. Fixed should obviously be a better reward. We're thinking of really cool ways to reward people, like maybe by offering them Swissborg tokens on top of it, making sure that the more you're staking, the better is the reward, the better is the APY, the more you get Swissborg tokens out of that. So we're really right now this model where you could potentially mint Swissborg tokens and earn like yield farm, essentially, not mint, sorry. You could yield farm actually Swissborg tokens basically on how long you're being staking. So we're definitely going to reward people that are coming in the early days of the yield and that are staking for a long time. And we're going to communicate this in the very near future, but you got the idea. You're going to be yield farming probably Swissborg tokens. And I think that's going to be super cool. It's question number 10. Why smart yield on USD first?
We already answered that. Side. It's just like you guys know in terms of impermanent loss and risks. It's the most stable. It's the most secure token in the space. Without a doubt, BUSD is also quite secure, but it has auditing, and it's good to start off with a token that has a less risk and then move on to the big boys, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and you guys saw on the previous slide, of course, Binance as well. So USDC, in terms of impermanent losses, in terms of all the risk factors, is really the best way to kick off, and probably the safest way for new people to get into space as well. You know, people who just want to transfer their fiat and put into USDC and kick off. It's really good for mass adoption. That's why we're using USDC first.
Donc, pour juste à répondre à Samir, je vois dans le commentaire, ce qui va se passer, c'est que tu vas devenir Premium Plus et pour cela, tu auras encore plus de droits qui vont te permettre d'avoir payer moins de frais en fait sur les différents trades que tu vas faire. So back to English. Question number 12. How soon to implement staking for large CHSB holders? I would like to stock 1 million tokens. We're definitely going to look into this. There's been ways that we want to make sure that this would make sense economically, legally as well in terms of product, but for sure we're going to be putting this hopefully very soon. But for you to understand, guys, so what is the future of the CHSB token? There's going to be different premium tiers, right? And that is really going to be how you can have the best, investments mandates for you in terms of saving fees or boosting returns, right? But then there's the other thing. One of the most important facts of blockchain is obviously, crypto for wealth management. That's great. But not only for payments and so ever, but there's one thing what we always forget is governance. And what we are going to implement hopefully very soon is how we as Swissborg become a nation, and how tokens, by staking that, will enable you to have governance rights. So that is really what we're trying to play here, is that we will have different governance roles. These different governance roles will be a certain amount of people that will be staking these Swissborg tokens, and these people will be able to essentially be super token holders and have more rights in terms of governance, of how we could create new referendums, ask different questions, and things that goes with these great governance. And that's really why we encourage people to own more than what premium is. It's not only for speculation. It's not only for staking and using it within the Wealth app. It's for the future governance rights that we're going to develop, and this is going to be an entire AMA, or at least a whole session on that. So I cannot dig into this, but we're working really deeply on it, and we're trying to see what would be the great model that we could maybe be inspired by, for like the Swiss model it's been established.
And if I can piggyback on what you're saying, Sai, so governance, guys, for the large token holders, you heard it. Not only there's a potential upside of the CHSB token with great tokenomics, but you will have, of course, the governance rights that will profit those who have lots of CHSB tokens. But of course, we'll have also the lower premium tier, which will communicate further earlier next year, and probably cover those things after we get over all the milestones that we need to hit. But yeah, what is the next question, Sai? Are there any other questions?
Well, I just answered it. Hey, this was the matrix. So you got it. It's not only for speculation, it's for those three different aspects. Being able to essentially have premium, then is able to be participant in referendums. And then the third is really to be able to have governance rules that we're going to implement through Swissborg Nation, hopefully very soon. If you have 3 months to bring CHSB above 10 cents, what will be your priorities? Aren't we at 10 cents right now? Are we at 10 cents, or are we close to 10 cents? Well, I think so. The priorities is really to tap into the smart yield and how you guys could get 2x of performance through it. And I think so that is really the best model. Not only the fact that we're going to upgrade people to super premium, those getting premium, but it's really to maximize you guys' returns. That is really probably one of the very convincing one. And I think so what you guys have to realize as well is that, there's a lot of, in the top 50 or top 100 tokens that have their legacy tokens, right? And they had their story, but they're probably not going to bounce from it. There's so many of these blockchains that don't have any applications. It's not as it's going to change for time for art. We have shown the last 3 years that we came from way far away there to the top 100. And because we've been developing the best tech, the best products. And this is only the start. We have this beautiful castle, and we can now build any type of rooms on it. And we'll be building more and more, faster and faster, with better scalability. And it's really the beginning of Swissborg, and I'm super excited. I'm sure you as well, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, most of the questions that follow this are related to, lower tiers or higher tiers. And I think, like, as we said, guys, as soon as the lower premium tier is going to be available, the amount of CHSB tokens staked is going to go FOMO 100%. I see it hitting 20% very quickly of all circulating supply once that is available. For the big token holders, we've already answered this question. And then other than that, there's something related to how can we have sustainable yields? One thing, we answered this earlier, guys, but one thing to really understand is that we are just trying to get alpha. So if yields go down, the others will be impacted as well, right? So if we cannot maintain 20%, so currently, the DeFi farming has actually lost a little bit of momentum. So if it goes to 15% or 16%, the whole point, guys, is just to make sure that we have enough arbitrage, enough alpha, so that we can get extra related to your Bitcoin, to your Ethereum. And that is going to attract a lot of people because once you have a great risk return product, that's where people will jump in and they'll be switching from one platform to come to Swissborg. And I really see the AUM growing very, very fast. I'm talking to people, personally, the community. I love the community. I love you guys so much. I talk to you guys before going to sleep sometimes. And a lot of people say they're going to double their AUM in the Wealth app as soon as these features are available. So I'm very, very confident that things will grow. And I hope that answers most of the questions. Sustainable in terms of double digits, we don't know how long this could last. Is it 6 months of crazy DeFi farming left? Even if it's 6 months, we will still get alpha and we'll do the right arbitrage. Right, Sai?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's market making. There's so many different things, and there'll be more. The yielding platforms will just grow. And today we're at $11 billion. 10 months ago we're at $1 billion. $11 billion out of the market is what, 450 now? I don't know exactly. That's still nothing. That's representing a fraction of what the crypto market has. But even the crypto market itself is still extremely small. So there's so many opportunities that will come with time. And obviously there'll be some cycles that won't be great. There'll be some cycles, but that goes to everything. I remember high yield bonds in 2008. I was a rock star. You were able to do like 25% out of a year. But in 2016 is not as good as anymore, but cycles just change. And we're here at an infancy cycle. We're at the zilch of the magnitude of what crypto will be offering, and there'll always be new ways to profit from great new investment opportunities, and that's why our token will always shine. Questions
That's
about the
about
roadmap,
it, right?
No, we're questions about the roadmap. We maybe could have these 10 more questions, and then okay.
Oh, I can do the first question if you want, Sai, as I've been talking to. So one thing in terms of debit cards and having like Visa, MasterCard payments in order to buy your crypto with Swissborg, I must say there's no guarantee. I'm not going to share any timelines about this, but there is an amazing community member who's reached out to us. And this person is doing his utmost to get us the best rates, the lowest rates for GBP, for Euro, for Swiss francs. So, whenever you guys can help us, like these amazing community members, there's so many amazing community members here. Just today, I was contacted by one of the #1 French journalists in the crypto scene who runs an actual newsletter called 21 Million. This is all thanks to Julien, Remy, and Mika, and all you amazing guys out there, the SB, DAO. But one thing to know in terms of debit cards, we will integrate this only if we can do better than what exists out there, right, Sai? We always look for alpha. I mean, if it's to have a 3.5% commission on a debit card transaction, that's not cool. It's easy to integrate that stuff. But if we take the time from our engineers who are extremely busy, we really want to have alpha, right, Sai?
To provide the best investment experience for sure. I think so. There's the great thing, as I just mentioned earlier, the whole banking facilities of fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, we're changing them right now. We're upgrading them to different counterparties, and one of them has great solutions for debit cards. So maybe it's gonna happen very soon. Getting back to some other. We want to get listed on Binance. Everyone knows that. The reason we want it is no need to explain here. we believe Binance is one of the greatest, ventures within the blockchain sphere. It's being complicated to reach the Binance team. I'm about to shoot a cool video very soon about how we could, leverage Binance and how they could leverage as well ourselves. I think so. It's gonna happen. Like whenever I visualize myself, Swissborg token, whatever is gonna be at $10. I always make sure that, how do I get to that, right? And obviously Binance would be one of the catalysts that will bring in more volume. Bringing more volume, bringing more demand. Demand will bring in a better price, and obviously, we'll get there. It's a matter of time, and if anyone has great ideas or is a good friend of CZ, you know what to do. We did a lot of Twitter campaigns, but we'll get there. And there's obviously Kraken and Coinbase and other exchanges that would like to be listed, and we're working on. Can you tell us when we'll have the next referendum? This is one of my biggest disappointment, to be honest with you guys. We will have we're developing, it's always the same thing. Rather you make a great tech and product and make sure it's scalable and you can do many of them, or you just do like a proof of case what we did in 2018 twice. And I think so we can go back to that old model. We really need now to get a new referendum that'll be plug and play within the Wealth app, and we have designed it, and now we need to implement it. But as we're changing the whole backbone of the banking partners right now, we're taking a lot of time. We're doing obviously the smart yields. This is coming later. So hopefully in Q1, we're hopefully targeting to do something around those dates. If not, it'll be a little bit later. But as you guys know, it's extremely important for us. We're thinking as well to do maybe a referendum for the big token holders. Maybe that will be a bit smaller than the one on the Wealth app. So we're working on different ways, and we'll get back to you whenever we have this to do. Regarding Muslims, this is very true. This is maybe not Sharia compliance. I gave a lot of thought of it, and I don't have an answer, to be honest. I just don't have an answer.
But the POS staking is something that is in the roadmap. So if that works with your type of compliance, so POS staking is in the roadmap. So we'll just have to figure out the priorities, based on community, based on market movements, and make sure that we choose what matters the most to the community. And like Cyrus was saying, Swissborg is very unique in the sense that we understand that you need something very easy because the mass is coming. The mass will be coming. And right now it's DIY, but easy DIY. We're moving to semi-automation. And then the long picture, guys, is a holistic wealth management platform that's fully automated. So this is something where as soon as this mass is going to come in, Swissborg will be one of the default choices because it's been that easy. And we still have a roadmap of exciting things to happen as long as it's easy for everyone, just like this yield farming, DeFi farming, which will be easier. It'll be done in a few taps. And we'll be here for Q4.
And token holder reports. So obviously, thanks for the videos. I hope you enjoy them every week. I have a lot of pleasure doing these great powwow, yo yippee yay, guys. But to get more serious and things, obviously, you guys need reports. So we took a lot of time last year to build the token holder report. If you haven't checked it out, I'll just maybe post a link into this YouTube video, maybe tonight or tomorrow. You could have a look at it. We're already working on the one of next year. So the old 2020, it's a great wrap up of exactly what we're talking right now and even more. So you can really look into details, and we really want to make sure all the token holders have that ability to get any information that they want, because transparency is the base of trust, and we do trust you and you do trust us. So we want to make that bond even stronger. An early adopter, I think there are two things to my mind. Is the most important to invest more in Swissborg. First, telling us what would be the next token available. Second, when would it be available? It's really hard for timing, guys. No one does it. Just no one does it. Whenever you build stack and tech stacks, or you build anything products, which is regarding software, it's very hard to anticipate when the release date is. And if we start providing those release dates, we're just going to waste time that will essentially take us to develop more cool stuff. So we do as fast as possible, the leanest possible, and the most secure possible as well. So we do take some time, but we're never gonna have a YAM. We're never gonna have a lot of these shit tokens, and we're not gonna have those ones that don't make any sense. So it takes more time. But again, with the referendum next year and ways to bring more transparency, we will do this.
All right, we've already been going on for over an hour, Sai. Let's wrap it up. I think we've gone over most of the questions. These are related to Asian expansion, but as you guys know, obviously we'll continue to serve Asia, but our core strategy is really to become the default choice in the EU by serving markets that are underserved, that don't have localization, that don't have, someone in Europe that's licensed, regulated with a trusted team without some sort of, gray type of behavior and unethical practices. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And I just want to apologize for not having Anthony to come in. Anthony is really like Cyrus did together. They're just two perfect pieces of the puzzle. And he's so technical and so intelligent. He would have provided a better AMA. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, Cyrus, thank you so much for inviting me as well.
Yeah, man, my brother, it was really cool to have you. And I really hope that all you guys really enjoyed it. It's really cool to see over 350 people or 230 people that showed up. As you guys know, at Swissborg, it's our mission again is really to decentralize finance by making it fair, fun, and community-centric. Really want to thank all of you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's really awesome to have you and to be able to inspire you and inspire me at the same time. It always drives me to be provide more love, more hard work. And I think so the entire team that we are today of close to 80 people have that same feeling, have that same passion, and have that same drive that is to really go the extra mile for you guys and provide something awesome. And we're at this really tipping point of how different we are and how we bring wealth management into crypto. No one talks about it. No one talks about the fact that how do you scale products is by providing the best user experience. We're not only providing user experience, we're providing investment experience. And with that, with the smart yield that's just about to be launched, it's going to be the best first robo-advisor how you can be connected to a great investment opportunities where people are earning 0% in traditional banks, where people are doing so much work into the crypto are now going to be able to earn a big amount of capital while minimizing risk, but as well, Alex,
maximizing returns. From the bottom of my heart, guys, we love you, community. We cannot stress it more. We love you to pieces. And as I always say, the future is what, Sai?
It's fucking bright.
It's effing bright. Thank you so much, guys. We love you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. All the best. Take care. Bye.